Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. I honestly don't know how long it's been since we've had Tehenowin on the channel. So here he is today from Reptile King, submitting this replay here. Is going up against the Dawi. He's got Tehenowin with no spells, just going to be acting as a battery with that Arcane Conduit. He's also got the Blade of the Serpent's Tongue to give extra charge bonus and poison attacks to these Cold One Riders. As for the rest of the build, he's got a Skink Priest, Lore of Heavens to do the actual spell casting, Skink Cohort, Red Crested Skink Saurus Warriors. We've got a Cohort of Sotek on the far side, and a couple of Razordon Hunting Packs, which is an interesting choice against the Dwarves. These guys can potentially get a lot of work done if you can keep them from safe from things like cannons, thunderers, and the like. We've also got some Skink Skirmishers. As for the Dawi, they do have a cannon. Got 3 units of Thunderers, 3 units of Giant Slayers, so some pretty heavy, anti-large AP. Also got some Miners with Blasting Charges, Dwarf Warriors, Ungrim Iron Fist leading the way with a Runesmith. You can see right off the bat, Cannon getting some nice side shots through these Cold One Riders. Those side shots definitely kill a lot of models and just do a ton of damage to the unit. You can see already 12 models down on that unit is a significant amount of their killing power lost. But all they need to do is get in and disrupt. Here, the Amexon Barbs are going to take a few volleys from the guns. Not going to be a great situation for them. They lose a few models, but they're going to go ahead and pull back. They do get outranged by Thunderers. 100 range on them to 145 of the Thunderers. So again, you do have to be careful of that. But the line is engaging here, and we're going to see an excellently placed Uranus Thunderbolt there in the background, right on top of that cannon. Actually detonates one of the cannon models, which is something you can do with Uranus Thunderbolt. So very nicely placed there. Brings that cannon down to just 2 models. And for those of you guys who don't know, when any missile unit model dies, that includes artillery models themselves, the unit actually loses the ammo that it was holding, that model was holding, right? So, like, destroying an artillery piece actually does get rid of quite a bit of its killing power. Unfortunately for the Cohort of Sotek, I mean, they're unbreakable, so they're not going to care too much about this in terms of leadership, but they're taking a ton of damage here on the approach from those Thunderers. And, just a giant kind of engagement going off here. Curse the Midnight Wind will help these Saurus Warriors beat down Dwarf Warriors very decisively. That armor debuff in particular, will be pretty significant. The Rune of Negation and Rune of Oath and Steel being used to counter that, though. So yeah, a little bit of a net zero effect. We got Red Crested Skinks pushing through, getting on the cannon model, which is just great. If we have a look at Tehenowin and his Lizard Cav, they're coming around to start disrupting the gun units. Reptile King doing a good job keeping in mind the wind condition. I mean, for the Amexon Barbs, the other Razordons, at least, if he can, again, get rid of the guns, there's nothing on the Dwarf roster, that can catch the Razordons, right? So as soon as you get rid of the guns, they can kite and shoot with impunity. So definitely going to go all in to that effect. You can see Tehenowin rolling in on his Horned One, all angry, shouting prayers to Sotek and just bopping Dwarfs on the head with the tablet. Which, to be honest, that's quite a way to go. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get killed in the Warhammer universe, and honestly, a stone tablet to the head is probably one of the more unique ones. So that's pretty cool. Court of Sotek continuing to fight to the end there. The Saurus Warriors kind of providing an inexorable wave here, but the balance of power is still pretty close. There are some Dwarven Thunderers able to get online. The cannon crew shattered, but these Giant Slayers are going to do pretty legit damage even to the Saurus. They will take a pretty significant amount of damage from the Saurus as well, but, sorry, those are Skink Cohorts, rather. And Tehenowin also doesn't want to fight Ungrim, probably. Ungrim is an exceptionally scary combatant to anyone that's large. He's currently got all of his stuff popped up to 894 weapon strength, almost 900 there, so Tehenowin's going to speed away on his Horned One, which he can do. There's only one more unit of Thunderers now, so you can see the Hunting Packs come forward, and they're going to start to throw some nice armor-piercing missiles in there. And they get rear charged by these Cold One Riders, so with the missiles being shut down, this other unit here is probably going to get chased off by those Skink Skirmishers, applying some pressure. That is going to allow the Razordons to then open up. There's not, honestly, a lot of targets for them to shoot at this point, besides the Giant Slayers, which are not necessarily armored, but they can still shoot at them, absolutely. Kind of soak in some of the cinematics here. The Saurus fighting tooth and nail with the Giant Slayers. A little bit surrounded here between Dwarf Warriors and Giant Slayers. So that's an uncomfortable situation, absolutely. Likewise, this Runesmith, not in the best situation, but he'll do okay. Looks like the Razordons might open up on him specifically. Some of the other ones just kind of out here avoiding, you know, these dwarf units, trying to chase a lot of the periphery units off, which is great. Tehenowin staying out of harm's way as well, which is just fine. Has plenty of ammunition left to try and kite out the dwarf player, and no need to really rush into melee at this point when he has the missile advantage. A lot of hunting packs, I mean, still full 24 models here, so they are having a hard time finding an open target to shoot at, but looks like they will lob a couple of shots in there and actually make contact with the runesmith, which is pretty funny. And yeah, now deciding instead to actually go after the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, who they can get a pretty good angle on, it looks like. Yeah. Those when those skinks rout away, finally getting some nice open shots on those Giant Slayers, War of Dragonfire Pass, dropping a few models there. You have a few Thunderers back on the very edge of the map, but sure, the Skink Priest can go deal with them. Balance power starts to tip in the Lizardmen's favor as Tehenowin comes over and helps to finish off this runesmith. Bad day for the Dowie. Ungrim runs in, but of course, being a stunted Dwarf Lord, cannot keep up with Tehenowin Swift on his Horned One, and yeah, he squeaks away there. Now it's just a matter of cleaning up these last few Giant Slayers, the big bad Slayer himself. And yeah, unfortunately, Slayers are fast for Dwarves, but still not fast enough to catch up with those Amixon Barbs, so they're going to get kited out to oblivion there. But yeah, nice to see Tehenowin, actually. And, you know, typically you see the caster lords, the Slans as your caster lords, I should say, for the Lizardmen. You don't often see Tehenowin. He is unique in that I want to say he's the only Lizardman character that has Arcane Conduit. I mean, obviously all the Slan have greater Arcane Conduit, and the Skink Priests, the hero-level characters, do not have Arcane Conduit at all, so it's puts him in an interesting place. He's kind of the only mid-level caster that the Lizardmen have access to, and he's also a pretty strong combatant in his own right. On the Horned One, he can be pretty mobile, kind of a mobile monster caster lord, almost, and the fact that he has Lore of Beasts is pretty strong. Obviously, Reptile King, in this particular battle, choosing him to just use him as a battery, and since Reptile, I know you'll probably end up watching this, this was probably a tiny error. I mean, it's literally, what, like 60 gold's worth, but you would want to cut Wild Heart in this situation because it is dependent on Tehenowin casting spells, so you could just save a tiny bit of points there. I mean, not that it would end up mattering at the end of the day, but, you know, those are the kind of min-max things that I think about on this channel. But Giant Slayers, yeah, you know, the Razordons were going to shoot them, but might as well just whack them in the face a little bit and then run away. The last of those Soras pretty much getting finished off there, but yeah, the Giant Slayers, this is going to be their fate here. And it looks like they choose to give up the fight. Very well played. Nice to see Tehenowin, like I said. Yeah, interesting build as well. I really like the use of that Uranus Thunderbolt to just detonate a cannon model. And Curse of the Midnight Wind is excellent for supporting Saurus Warriors against Dwarfs. So I actually really like this build. You know, normally taking a Skink Priest Lore of Heavens, you wouldn't get access to that much magic, right? You'd have to take like a Heavens Slan, which against the Dwarves, Slans are slow big targets, pretty vulnerable to Dwarf missile units. So yeah, this kind of gives you a less vulnerable way. You still get a pretty good amount of Winds of Magic, obviously not as much as if you had brought a Slan, but still a good amount of Winds of Magic. And yeah, you also get a Lord that's pretty decent at fighting, nice and mobile, and can help support those Lizard Cavalry. So I like it quite a bit. For the Dwarf side, I mean, 3 Giant Slayers is a lot. They did get some good work done and just about carried the game in the late game there. And yeah, I mean, going with more ranged units than this can potentially be a little bit risky. I think I might just reallocate some things. Maybe to honestly just bring normal Slayers instead of Giant Slayers. Maybe upgrade one of those Thunderers to another cannon, just to get additional range pressure at long range, and then definitely dedicate those cannons to shooting the Razordons at the start of the battle. You want to focus on the Razordons because you have basically nothing else that can kill them. And obviously you could try and bring some Gyrocopters here. There is some counterplay for Lizardmen bringing like, you know, Rippers, Ripperdactyls, or even Pterodons. Can counter them to a degree, but they can be good here, especially Brimstone guns, obviously. You can pick away models of Lizardman Cavalry. You do have to be careful, though. Gyrocopters have about the same range, I want to say. It's, what, 90 range? Let's check real quick. Range on Gyrocopters as compared to the Razordons. Razordons will shred gyrocopters, I believe, if they get into range, but I think they're about the same. Yeah, 100 range, so they are actually, what, exactly the same as the Razordons at 100 range, so you really have to pick and choose your shots and be careful not to get mown down. Yeah, 100 range there, so it's a little bit of an interesting trade, but yeah, fun matchup, definitely. One that I would say can go either way, yeah, depending on build, so a lot of fun. Big thanks again to Reptile King for sending that one in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.